Hey everybody, welcome to the Jim Master Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Variety Celebrity Talk Show Series. How are you doing? I hope you guys are doing well wherever you're watching all around the world. We're coming at you here from the tri-state area in the Northeastern United States, the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area, along the southern New England coast between New York and Boston. That's where this show originates from in the New York area, or as you guys call this, Lovity Hall, which I think is really cool. It's a word we stumbled on when I was saying the show has a lot of light, love, and levity. We always have a good time, great entertainment, poignant moments, surprise moments, especially when we're live. Interesting and fascinating guests at all different celebrity levels as well. And we have all of you. If you'd like to comment while the show is on live right now, you know what? You can. All you have to do is subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is the one you're watching right now. That is Jim Masters TV. Very interactive host, very interactive format. It isn't us talking at you. We're talking with you. So if you want to say hello to me and the guest, if you want to say hello to one another, just subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, which costs nothing. And you can comment in what we call the JMS Lovity Hall chat room. That is the chat room that's open and available when the shows are airing. So all of you can chat with one another, say hello, and say hello to us as well. We've got an extraordinary guest who's filled with vim and vigor and passion and enthusiasm for life and love and living. And very creative person, a wonderful artist, creative producer, documentarian. She's got a new documentary out, Dear Asian Girls. I'm going to tell you about that. And she's got a great sense of humor. She's a brilliant singer and actress performer as well. She makes her home in New York City. And we're very excited to have her here. We've got a mutual friend we're going to tell you about who sort of put us together as well. Yes, we are excited to have Yuko Kudo here on the show. As I mentioned, a brilliant singer, actress, creative producer, artist. And don't you, when we're deciding what photo to use for our on-air promotion and promoting that she's going to be here. And again, she's a brilliant, brilliant person in many different respects. Everybody loves her. She's a bundle of humor and energy and just excitement for life. I said, we got to pick this picture because look at it. That's happiness times 10, isn't it? I mean, it's like instead of the typical posed photos and everybody, this was just a great shot that was captured. And I think it just really represents the essence of who she is. Again, she's coming to us from the Big Apple. And we're going to talk about, the incredible work that she and her team have done on this amazing documentary, but also everything else. I mean, they worked through, the pandemic and everything they had to do to create the documentary, but also she has her hands in so many projects and so many different things that she just has her hands in that I think is really terrific. We seem to have, I was doing a little research, we seem to have a lot of mutual friends as well. And as I mentioned, she herself is a fantastic performer and just a really, really energetic person. And we're so excited to have her here on the show. So Yuko is joining us from New York City. There's a little bit of a graphic that you can see about Dear Asian Girls, Just Be You. This is a documentary production produced by Untapped Storytellers. And we're going to talk about them as well, which is a really, really cool production company. So it's just a short list. We've got a really cool episode in store for you all. Again, if you would like to comment while the show is on, say hello. Let us know where you're watching from. We always love when you guys connect with us, and you can do it in the JMS Lovity Hall chat room. So without further ado, we are going to welcome our very special guest coming to us from New York City. She's all excited. She said she's worked her whole life just to get to the Jim Masters Show live series. And here she is. Yuko, welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor.
Oh, it's a pleasure and an honor to have you as well. And how's your day going? What's a Monday like for you?
Oh, what's a Monday? Any day that ends with Y is a day in New York.
Is it because you end up asking yourself why or
That's a good one. Um, I think it's yes, part of that. That is true, but also someone who have a very fortunate to be able to do something that you love to do as a part of your career. It it doesn't clearly have a definition of weekday weekends that kind of gets blurred. So that's where I'm coming from right
That's
now.
yeah, I know. It's today's been one of those kind of crazy days. It was very stacked for me. Like there was no time to even eat because I had to do this and this phone call and this email and then schedule this shoot and host this show and just it's one of those days where it was just constantly happening, you know what I mean? And you had to stay ahead of the curve and ahead of the roaring floodwaters to keep everything on track. It's just one of those days. And I guess, it's hey, we're upright, we're here, we've won.
Yeah.
You know what
And
I think?
somewhere in between, we got to make time to breathe, right?
We got to make time to breathe. We got to make time to eat. And as creative people and as artists, we know that sometimes the demands of what we do and the time and attention to what we do can suck that away, but you have to re-plug in and reboot and re-energize. I know you're a big believer that art is a language that speaks human. And I think that's a fantastic way to put it. Art connects people, which it absolutely does. And the other thing too is artists, you're a true believer, are healers, teachers, and leaders. And art has taught you to be you. And it's helped you heal from past wounds as well, which it does for a lot of people. And you're a true believer that you want to live in a world where everyone feels seen, heard, and safe. Because when you feel seen, heard, and safe, that's when real change can happen. And that's why you keep creating, right? Tell us about that.
Yeah. Art, it's such a vague term.
Isn't it?
It's such a rich term, right? And depending on who I ask, depending on who I'm talking to, in what context, and the answer changes all the time, which is also a beauty of it. But to me, art, again, art is a language that speaks human. It gives me an opportunity to learn new things, meet new people, open up something that I never thought I could do. And sometimes I learn about myself in a way that I didn't expect, right? So element of surprises, but there are so many opportunities that can be created from art, and I think it's a beautiful thing. And everyone is artists in our own way, right? Language can be an art form, and music can be an art form. Drawing can be an art form, and for some people, the cooking is an art form. Depending on how we define it, we always are artists in one way or the other. Is what I like to believe.
When did you realize that you had the artistic eye and artistic heart and artistic way about you? Was that something that was discovered by you as a child, or did family, friends, and maybe educators around you notice this about you and help you bring it out? How did it work for you initially in the early years growing up when you started developing, who you were and your artistic nature?
Mhm. My first memory related to any art form, I started out as a playing piano. And my kindergarten teacher, she's also my piano teacher later on, and she was the one taught me about operetta, singing musical, and I have a picture of me in a top hat dancing chorus line. And so I was introduced to that culture of, or rather the world of art and performance, and be creative very early on.
Like age
And
3 classical piano, right?
yeah, I was I was very eager.
Yes.
Mhm.
And you
And
went to was it the Akahira Music Academy in Japan?
yes, so my kindergarten teacher, she also had music school. And so she was my teacher, my mentor. And when I got into that music school, I declared to everyone, if I'm not taking lesson with her, I'm not taking lesson with anybody else. I will
Right. She's really, really accomplished. And then the passion sort of turned to singing and musical theater towards your late teens, right?
Musical theater a little bit later, but I was always into Disney and wanted to sing a song from the Disney classic and wanted to sing a pop song with my piano and accompanying going on. So those are the things that I started out as. But when I was in Japan, I'm originally from Japan and I moved out to the States when I was 19. But when I was in Japan, I actually had no intention of pursuing anything had to do with art. I only decided that I want to do it since I moved here officially.
So coming to the States and coming to New York really sort of got that interest sort of growing and sort of empowered you?
It's yes, and a little bit more than that. I think in when I was in Japan, the entertainment industry, as I perceived, I didn't see myself going nowhere. And I wanted a sense of more freedom when I moved here. And I was very fortunate to meet some of the greatest teachers, some of my greatest schoolmates, my colleagues back in when I moved here. And they're kind of introduced me to more of the entertainment industry. They taught me what is the audition and all these kind of thing. And hence had, I had a courage, yes, but also when you're 19, you grow up your parents' house and you just want to do what's fun and what you want to do, and or at least you want to try, and you have that rebellious moment. So I was fortunate enough to try those things that I really wanted to try. So that kind of opened up my career path in that way.
Mm, that's fantastic. And of course, the energy, just being here with so many creative types. Upon moving to Los Angeles in 2003, you had worked as an actor and singer in various productions, becoming a member, which you are proudly of the Screen Actors Guild, right?
I am, and the this is a fun story. I love to tell people. One of the reasons that I got a SAG card was the remake of The Fame, and
Oh,
that
yeah.
was one of my favorite movie before I moved to United States. So it was really cool to be on that, musical movie, but also in
Yeah.
a different era and the different actors, and then seeing the back end of it, and I really felt excited in that moment.
Wow, that's cool, huh? So the updated version to Fame with all that iconic music and dancing and just the whole storyline. That's quite exciting. And then, of course, um, moving to New York City, and in 2013, you started working with the National Asian Artist Project, founded by a Broadway legend, right? Tell us about that.
Yeah, her name is Baayork Lee. I actually got to see her yesterday,
Did you?
and yeah, she is 4'10". She originated a role of Connie Wong in the original production of Chorus Line on Broadway,
Hmm.
and it really is her story and how she lived through the audition scene, and as a dancer, as an Asian person, as someone who is a 4'10", and she is a pioneer and really a fairy godmother for Asian American theater community. And I was fortunate enough to work with her during that time of the Asian American Artist Project. And yeah, a lot of things opened up from there.
It's amazing. Did you watch the Oscars, the Academy Awards last night?
Oh my
I mean, there
God.
were
I was
so many
bawling.
There were so many firsts on so many different important, growth-oriented levels just as a society with the accomplishments, the awards,
Yeah.
and the recognition of peers in the industry. It was something quite special, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was very special. And what's really cool about that is, yes, Michelle Yeoh, and yes, all these actors and actresses are being recognized, but also in the back end too, right? Like if people in the costume, people in the music, we started to see diversity in those areas as well. And what's that's so exciting because we are seeing the change as an ecosystem, as the whole industry. it's not only about what audience gets to see in front of the TV or screen or on stages. It's more than that, and we need more of that.
Absolutely. I know you've been a big proponent of that, and you make a mark, in the way that you do through being a big proponent of diversity and of inclusion and of every type. And I think that's so important. You also were selected as a finalist for the wonderful, is it the Roger Sturtevant Musical Theater Award for Actors Equity Association, performed with Lea Salonga at the Kennedy Center?
It was a dream for me. I mean,
Wow.
you see Lea Salonga as the singing voice of Jasmine. You see Lea Salonga as the singing voice of Mulan, and she's this iconic, beautiful artist. And I was one of the chorus member for Philippine Disaster Relief for that particular concert, and I saw her perform literally a few feet away from me, and here I am, small town girl from Japan, performing at the Kennedy Center with a Lea Salong a few feet away. That was mind-boggling moment.
Yeah, that's one of those pinch me. Am I really here? Is this a dream sequence
Hmm.
in a movie or in a soap opera or something? Am I really here? That is fantastic. I also want to let folks know, in addition to everything else that you do as a performer yourself, singer, actress, artistic person, you're also a wonderful photographer, and your work has been seen in Forbes and in Time Magazine. And some of your recent clients, too, have included the Public Theater and even including a Tony nominated director, too, right?
Yeah, Kristen Hange, she's a Tony nominated director, and Rock of Ages and Bear the Rock Opera. She is a beautiful human. Her and Natalie Roy, also an amazing actress, and they were really big part of my creative journey here in New York. And I had a fortune of working with them and being able to capture some of her gorgeous self. And it's really fun. And photography is something that I didn't think I would go in, but once I got in, it was just one of my love language for me.
Yeah.
I want to quote Michael Catrone here, and he always said, "It's not my job to make you look beautiful; it's my job to show you how beautiful you are." So whenever I capture people, it is about the individual or the group of folks who are in front of me. They are immersed in the moment of performance, or sometimes it is about their nervousness or like not taking headshot for a long time, or maybe for the first time. But I know that these people are beautiful, and I want to bring out the best for them. Or if they're already bring it, I just need to capture them. So easier on my end.
That's what's great. And, what I love about what you do and the way your outlook is, you're very much cognizant of, which I think is the best way to be. I've always tried to be that way too. It takes a village to do all these things, to these productions, and whether it's on stage, it's film, it's television, it's, internet, whatever it is, it takes all of these people and all these ideas and the coming together of all of the creative juices and energy. And you're very appreciative and cognizant of all the people around you, and you're always lifting them as they're lifting you, and you're lifting each other together. But you're always, which I like to do too, that's why I picked this up with you immediately, you like to shine the light that may be on you on everybody else around you as well, which I think is very special to do that. And it's something that comes naturally. And you find that of great importance to do that, don't
I do. Thank you so much for recognizing that, and it's really important. And I'm not here because of me, right? I'm especially in this particular moment. I am here because Helene introduced me to you, and I met Helene because of the Kristen and Natalie Roy that we just talked about, and all these ripple effects happen. Had it not been for the people who paved the way for me, where would I be? And like right now, I'm in this space of there you go.
There
There's
you guys
Helene.
are. There's
You're so
Helene.
prepared. I love
I tell
it.
you, absolutely.
So it's really important to see the connection, and I want to always remember to be grateful. And like, you never know. And right now I'm at the point that, okay, how can I do that for the folks who are younger than me, who are just starting out their career, who are still in high school? How can I do that for them? And I don't know how yet, but at least I'm open to that perspective now.
Which is fantastic, which I think is really, really terrific. You also currently you're using, which I think again is very relatable and makes you approachable and also can help others heal through the arts, because as we said, the arts very healing, very connecting, universal language in many ways. You use your personal story and healing journey to bring awareness for diversity and inclusion, immigration story, women's rights, wellness, mental health and wellness. And you also advocate for creatives in the industry as a whole, to sort of create these sustainable livelihood environments for artists and collaboration opportunities and human rights. And you've collaborated with Civic Hall, United Voices for Peace, Mondo, New York City, Women in Music, Stronger with Music as an artist, producer, and speaker. And you currently serve as board of secretary for Prime Produce Apprentice Cooperative, a member of Artist Council for People's Theater Project, which I think is fantastic, member of Think Tank, Theatrical Innovation, and lots more. That's all very important, right? You sharing your personal story and healing journey to bring awareness to these important issues in our society, in our lives.
Yeah. Thank you so much for naming all these amazing people and organizations. I have so much respect for these people, and going back to earlier, had it not been for them, like, I would not be here. So first, thank you to all the people you named. And it's really important to recognize art and work of the art workers and cultural worker as a labor. I think that's truly important, so that we can see, oh, art is some cute thing that people can do, or art is a luxury, or stop dreaming, or the very fancy struggling artist myth and whatnot. And COVID and pandemic had such a silver lining moment, because there are so much evidence how art and creative industry are contributing to the world, and both economically and also education space, and a personal level, mental health, mental wellness we just mentioned. In so many ways, we get to tangibly witness what it means to have art in our life as our fundamental human rights, right? So it was such an eye-opening moment, not only for our artists to really value ourselves and our work and say, look, our work matters. Who we are matters. Our career and industry matters. So it was such a silver lining moment. And I use personal story because, that's the only thing I can tell, because that's my story, right? Without appropriating other people's story, I might get inspired and collaborate with other people's story. But at the end of the day, what I can truly tell is my perspective, my story, my experience. And that's why I love to use a personal story, because it means something. It really resonates to my experience. And I think having a diversity is something that really needs to be careful, because it comes to the point that it become very superficial, and it really can be. And I see many places that comes across as very superficial. And that's why I really want to be honest about myself, honest about my true self and identity. And yes, I am human, and I am a woman, and I am Japanese, and I am an immigrant, and I am an artist. So all these layers are I add on top of that. Yes, I am human. And then the more I recognize about myself, the more opportunity for me to connect with the people who identify themselves as such.
Which is fantastic because sometimes, there's underrepresentation. People don't necessarily have a voice or they don't think that they have a place at the table. And I think you're setting a wonderful example to give people the confidence and hope that they too are a part of the party. They're a part of the situation and they're valued and important, and that we should really listen to all the different voices. I'm big about that balance, harmony, bringing people together. We all have something to say. We all have something to learn from one another. And sometimes you may have this one way of thinking, but then you listen to other voices and other sensations and feelings. You're like, gee, I never thought of it that way. Or, wow, that's something really exciting. I want to try that. And that only happens when you facilitate it in the way that you're doing it through art, by sharing your personal story and healing journey too. What else do you think it is about your story that resonates with people? What is it about some specifics maybe, or little nuggets about your story that really makes it extra special, where people want to hear more, they can't get enough of it?
I would love to know that too, because I
Because you're
don't.
still living it, right?
Right. I'm still living it. And I think I try to be as honest as I can in that moment. Like, whatever the script, I've done 3 solo shows in the past, and this one was the first iteration of that. And the second one, it got more personal. And the third one is the one that I really created with who I want to talk to and what is the messaging is, and what is the desire I had for these people to take action. So third one had, I think the third one was the one that I really got to say, this is something I have to say. This is something I want to share. And so it has an evolution. And I am a big on, if I am sharing my own story, I don't want to use my stage or the stage to like not traumatize people, but just like blah at people on stage, because
Right.
that's not,
Overwhelm them.
yeah,
Right.
that's not fair for people, right? There are people, they're there to enjoy themselves, they're there to whatever the reason they come to the my show or whatnot. But I'm also responsible for taking care of them, responsible for guiding them through their journey. So I really want to make sure that I do my own part of processing whatever it is in the narrative, so that I can truly be the vessel of the story, rather than I'm using the stage to process my own thing.
Right. That's an interesting way to look at it, because a lot of people don't necessarily approach it that particular way. And I think that's unique. Again, it goes back to what I said earlier. You're always thinking of the others that are around you and the impact of your story and your situation, and how it impacts them, but also lifts them as you're still being lifted telling the story, which I think is a fascinating thing to be able to do in such an effortless way, or at least it comes off as effortless, because it's you speaking your truth, which I think is something quite special. And part of all of that is the documentary, Dear Asian Girls. What was the inspiration for that? And tell us, about that. And congratulations on it.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Yeah, but before I talk about Dear Asian Girl, if I may, I whenever I do my solo show, during the process, I do cry a lot. I do throw tantrums a lot, and it's all thanks to my team holding space for me. And so, if it weren't for that, I would not get there. So, I just want to give a quick shout out to my team. That's company is Sarah, and also Brandon Rumaker. That's Michael Catrone and Ko Tanaka, incredible musician and cinematographer. And yeah, there are United Voices for Peace folks, and all these people are making things possible together. So, and that's Kyle Beckley right there. Um, so all these people hold me in the space that I can do my process that needs to be done during the prep period so that I can be the best vessel for the audience in the day of. So I needed to say that out loud. And okay, now we can talk about Dear Agent Girls.
Yes, right. And once again, like you're paying heed to the people around you that help make it happen and give you the space to be able to tell the story. So that's beautiful. Yeah. And if they're watching, yeah, I'm sure they're happy to hear that. So
I
yeah,
love you
this is
all.
you, a lot of levity. Yes, she's a Gym Master Show levity. She's already been
Yeah,
designated by our viewers as a levity. So which is really, really cool. So this has been a labor of love, this, hasn't it?
this is this is a very special. This is very very special, and I started working on this in during the pandemic. During the pandemic, when anti-Asian hate crimes are rising up, the more news are coming up, and the theaters are shut down. We didn't know where and how and what we are doing. Our world are flipped upside down. And one of the things that really kept me going was I have a group of people, and they are with me thick and thin. And I started making this project as a part of the class, and it was a documentary filmmaking for a social cause. And when I had a theme assigned to me, it was gender stereotype. That was the theme of the class, and I picked this, and we just typecast a stereotype in a very stereotypical role in the theater, in a very limited role are existing in current commercial musical theater spaces, or prior to pandemic, that is, right? And more things are happening off Broadway, off of Broadway, absolutely. But on the commercial space, there is not enough thing happening.
Right.
And now the pandemic was there. So all these things, I really wanted to create something for little girls, for the next generation of the folks who are coming into this industry. No matter what they tell you, you get to show up as you. So that was the messaging that I wanted to tell and create. Hence, this came about. Yeah.
That's fantastic. So what was it like? I mean, I know, working on productions myself, it can be really, labor intensive. You got to have a crew. And here you're saying like did it working on it during the pandemic. So there's the certain limitations of that as well. And but yet at the same time, uh, really making it happen. How we were able to work through all that and get it all going and come up with this fantastic result.
Yeah. So when you're creative and you want to make something, you got to do what you got to do, right? You got to do what you got to do. That's what being creative is. Like we
Yes.
problem solve things,
Hmm.
which could also be very detrimental to our thing, but we are very, very creative and result oriented, problem solution oriented. So I started with my camera myself and all these artists, Jessica Wu, Cinderella, Mayo, and Gina Francis. They're all my friends that I respect, and I work with all of them. And they are fascinated individuals. So I reached out to them, like, hey, can you share your story? So I went to their places with my camera, just one-on-one conversation. And with the Cinderella audience, if you see this film, she is actually in the Philippines because of the pandemic. So everything we done was a Zoom, and everything was shot via Zoom, and all the footages are coming in was provided by her or anything that we were able to share and after permission. And so it's very handmade, very homemade, and but because of that, it gets to fill with this so much love, so much intentionality. And after that, after I had all the footages from these three individuals, I put them together And immediately I noticed it's not going to be what I want it to look like. That's the thing about documentary, right? You can control what these people give me. It's their story. You have to honor it. You have to co-create it with these people. So it shifted dramatically than what I initially thought it is going to be.
Mm.
But I am so grateful because of that. It became such a beautiful thing. And when I was making it, a couple of people told me, "Are you going to put your own story?" Because I am an immigrant and I am an Asian woman and I am also in the theater. But I decided not to insert myself in a interview form, but instead I decided to insert myself as an ending song, so that I can almost have this as a um, like cheer song for
Hmm.
people to really tie those stories together and really seal the
Positive
button with
vibe.
it. Yeah.
Right. Leave them with something uplifting and positive to sort of cap off what they've been absorbing by watching the documentary, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
How did you pick the music and the songs and things of that nature to flow through?
Um so again, going back to you got to do what you got to do. Uh I scored all of them, and
You did, yeah.
I scored all the music, and also I wrote the song. And Kotonaka, who was in the picture earlier, he was a wonderful, wonderful composer and arranger. So he helped me with the music arrangement. And we record also pandemic. Yes, we recorded in our apartment with our soundproof foam and all of that. And it's very homemade.
Oh, yeah. You know what some people use for their soundproofing when they're doing voiceover work or singing? They'll actually go into their walk-in closet,
Yeah,
close the door, because all the hanging clothes actually absorb the sound to become almost like a soundproof booth. If you don't
yeah,
have an expensive soundproof booth, you go into your closet, you close the door and surround yourself by all the hanging clothing,
yeah.
and all of a
That's
sudden
exactly what we did.
the closets,
Hmm.
right.
And it's
It's
not even walking because we don't have walking closet. So we just made it happen.
you used what you had available and
Hmm.
just worked with it. What do you hope people are left with? And we have a clip from it too. We're going to show us like the trailer. Um, what do you hope that people? Is there an audience you have in mind for it? And what's a takeaway or a few takeaways you hope people are left with when they see it?
Mm. So I would say roughly two different categories. First is all my Asian families, all my Asian identified families to really celebrate themselves. So celebrate who you are, what you look like, who you are in this world, and really show up as you. And other people can dictate you however the way they want to, but you get to choose and show up as who you are. So that's number one. And number two is for people who are supporter of the theater work or who are supporter of art to really understand what it means to pursue art, what it means to pursue art, what it takes, and what are the some struggles and challenges that these people go through. If you were to see artwork as a labor, what are some of the obstacles that we face? Some of the artists go through like 7 auditions in a week, and or a couple of them in a week. That's job interview for these people. So if you are going on and on and on all day, what does that look like? We're investing on our equipment, we're investing on our skills day in and day out. And some of the times we can't even go into the room because we look like who we look like. Like there's so much going on, and I would love for more people to know what it means to be an artist in this day and age from so many different angles. And we talked about earlier in Oscar and all these award diversities happening, but it is about, yes, what we see as an audience, because that's more immediate, right? And right away. But it's more than that. As an industry, who is investing these things? Who are deciding what narratives to tell? Who are directing? Who is casting? All these things needs to be in diverse and representative of who we are and what we are in this world. So I would love for more people to recognize a little bit of what this ecosystem look like and start like, thinking in a different way. And that's what I want people to take away.
That's fantastic. That's beautifully said. That is exactly what it's all about. And for you sharing it in such an eloquent way, I think it hits home with so many people. We've got the trailer here. We're going to show that Dear Asian Girls short documentary, and then we'll talk more about it as well. And what's next here? Is that a keyboard next to you or to
Yeah,
the
that's
right of
my
you? Is that
keyboard. That's
you
my
could tell?
keyboard.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my keyboard. Yeah, I mentioned earlier I grew up as a classical pianist, and this little guy, or I, I'm very grateful that I have a space to put something like this in art where I live, and still be creative and still be able to just blast it out with my headphone whenever I feel like I don't know how to express myself, because this is my first love. It's not the one that I had when I was growing up, but it's still it is my language. Music is my language, and it's still here.
And music is a universal language on so many levels, and as we know, it's a great healer as well, and unifier and icebreaker, just like humor is too. Humor is very much that way of brings people together and sort of melts the ice a little bit and sort of loosens the armor that people have around them, which I think is important as well. Are you always singing around the house? Or are you always belting
I'm
out a
making
tune or two?
noises.
Huh? You
I'm making noises.
she's
At least
Is that what the neighbors say, or is that what you say?
that's what I would say.
That's what she said.
Yep,
she's
exactly.
she's making noises as she she shares her craft. Here is a little bit of a trailer here, give you an idea, gang, of this incredible short documentary, Dear Asian Girls, and our very special guest, Yuko Kudo, is here from New York City. So I decided to have her here. I'm Jim Masters, your host. You're watching the Jim Masters Show live, entertainment, lifestyle, celebrity talk show series. If you're enjoying this episode, give us a thumbs up, leave a comment on our YouTube channel, and subscribe to Jim Masters TV, the YouTube channel. That's where we house all of these episodes of our live entertainment celebrity talk show series. Now, here is a little preview of Dear Asian Girls.
There's very few shows that are meant for Asian American casts. And also there are very few shows that are cast with Asian Americans in non-traditionally Asian American roles. We end up just getting typecast a lot.
I think I was defying whatever they're trying to put in my brain. Like, you can't do this role. You can't sing this role. You can't sing this song. It's not for you. And I'm gonna sing this song. I want to be part of the whole AAPI community to broaden and to inspire more kids and more performers wherever they are in this world to take a leap and defy whatever their circumstances are in their country.
I can try to figure out what someone wants, right? Play the game, figure out the types. So for me, what's most challenging is my own psyche and talking to myself about, show up as you. Let the other people decide and see what they're gonna see. Be ready to just show up and be.
What's the response been so far to people who have seen it? I would imagine it's quite moving on many levels, huh?
Yeah, it's very humbling experience. And of course, from my Asian families, it- they relate. They relate to them, right? They relate to all these three artists, and some of them is their story in a very different way. The detail might be different, but the human experience of like overcoming the challenges and really facing themselves, it's real story. And even though this film really features women identifying artists, but there are some male identified folks who said, I know that I'm not an Asian girl, but I can relate. And I'm also getting a lot of feedback and comments from the parents whose kids are studying theater in the college. And they are like, I'm sharing with my kids, or I'm sharing with my mom community. And that's really exciting. And but one of the things that really touched me was I was talking to this Afro Latin theater maker, and he watched this, and because I watched your work, I casted two Asian people in my show, and like
Wow.
that really touched me, and that's why I want to keep going. That's why I want to keep sharing with people, and I I made this work through crowdfunding, and so thank you for all my founders. And one of the message that I got was it was from a mom said, I can't wait to watch this with my 6-year-old.
Wow.
So something like that, right? It's that moment. That's a human experience that we want to share. That's like a very raw, that's very vulnerable, and it's so genuine, and that's why I want to keep going.
That's amazing. Has this been entered into festivals and all yet for people
Yeah.
to?
Absolutely. This past weekend, we just had a West Coast premiere, and also at the same time, we're showing in Barbados. So that was wonderful. And we'll have probably have a couple more filming happening, and perhaps I personally thinking about impact campaign, and definitely want to do one in Atlanta, Los Angeles, and perhaps I'll even take it back to Japan, where I'm from. So who
That's what I
knows?
was thinking. Yes, it would be kind of sort of coming home in a way to show folks that, you too can do this. You too can do whatever you
Yeah.
want to do and live your life and express yourself. And boy, how cool would that be? How you went back to your hometown and this was showing, like in a
Mhm.
theater or on television or something there. That would be quite a moment, huh?
Yeah, that would be really something. And I know that it will be a different experience because diversity in states and diversity in Japan is quite different. It doesn't mean the same thing. So when it comes to race and like immigrants and whatnot, so it might have a different take, but in relationship to moving away from hometown, moving away from where you're growing up or where you used to, and following your dream because you really believe in something, that's something, no matter who you are, no matter where you are from, that's something that we share as a human being. So if I were to take this back to Japan or in my hometown, that's something I would love for people to understand.
Has it been, did you say it was out in the West Coast?
It was out in the West Coast,
So West
yes.
Coast. Wow. So that's fantastic. What, and New York?
New York, yeah, we've done a couple of community screening, and that's one of the thing I love to do. Like, with yes, this is short, so I think there are more opportunity for people to watch it. This short film, and also have an opportunity to have a dialogue, right? I think that's what's beautiful about art. Like we've been saying, art is a language, and art is an invitation too. Once we invite people, we can just have people hang in there. We had to help
Right.
them engage in something. So I love having a community screening, have a talk back, engage with people, and really understand and like build the connection with each other. That's something I love to do. So I'm pretty sure I just had one in February, in House Kitchen area. So I'm pretty sure we'll do it again soon.
You working on a bunch of other projects at the same time right now, Yuko?
I do. We wrapped up a couple of things last week, and one of the big thing is an International Women's Day concert. I was one of the producing team, and we were performing with. No, I wasn't performing. The UN Symphony Orchestra was performing, and for International Women's Day, and we celebrated 10 women composers from all around the world, conducted by women conductors. So it was beautiful. It was gorgeous, and it it's just something very magical about what music can do and what art can bring people together.
What kind of music do you like to perform and compose and things of that nature? What speaks to your heart and soul?
Ooh, what speaks to my heart and soul? Um, so my alter ego, my alter ego's name, her name's MC Atherin. So she likes to be an MC, and also Catherine with a C and MC Atherin, right? So during the pandemic, one of the fun thing we did was create this mixtape album. It was a friend of ours, Amanda Kelly Espiritu, and she was the lead producer, and we created this piece. So I was playing piano, very classical piano, and another musician who I might have met him once or twice. So he took that and add super sick beat and put that into a crazy hip hop music. And
Wow.
I love the fusion. I love classic orchestra and rock, or like a Lindsey Sterling, and those are like something that I love. And maybe I don't sing like that, but as a singer, I am always gonna be. I want to be a Disney princess. I will always want to be a Disney princess and sing Disney classic and do pop thing. But I love being silly. I
Yeah.
love being like just ridiculous and talk about all these weird voices and do some crazy things, right?
Oh, I
And
like that. Do you do animated voices and things of that nature as well?
I'm Japanese. I grew up with those things.
Wait, they created it.
you know. So
Godzilla came from there too.
exactly. So I love doing all these funny things, and I love all, you know, a random thing, or maybe I'll just like listen to heavy beat hip hop and, you know, go crazy outside running or whatnot. Yeah, but I don't know. I think that's what's so fascinating about being an artist, and also challenging, that because everything inspires you.
I was just about to say, what were some of the things that inspire you? But you seem to be an observer of life around you and the various things and sensations and feelings and the things that you visualize and hear inspire you probably every single day. You could probably sit on a subway and just look at people and hear bits and pieces of conversations and look at certain expressions and be inspired to create just from what you're seeing of being around humanity or even out in nature, right?
Yeah. And some of the thing that I've been telling my friends is like, I have a hard time finding hobby. I have a really hard time finding hobby for myself. I really don't know, because
You like to do a little of everything?
I am a professional multi hyphenated human.
Yeah, that's it, right? So little of this, little of this, little of this, little of this. Do you bore easily?
Um, I don't know. I'm actually not sure. I might take time to get into certain things, like books, right? Like sometimes I might take time to get into certain flow of the books, but once I get in, I get in. Do I get bored? I don't find myself being bored as often, and maybe I sometimes I think I should be a little bored, because I feel like I don't give myself a chance to just be and sit down and chill. And I think that's something that I want to actively explore, because if yes, it's cool and it's exciting that I'm always inspired, but I'm not giving myself a chance to breathe or to come up with something new. So I would love to intentionally create more space so that I can learn or observe or percolate on new things. Also to rest.
How do you, if you're always a creator and a thinker and a doer and bringing people together, what are some of the things that you do to counteract that, to balance that, to plug in, to unplug and then plug in, to reboot, refresh, to sort of get in touch with yourself again? Are there some things that you do, whether it's meditating or going to the ocean, just pulling the shades down, staying inside, listening to music, whatever it may be? Are there certain things that you do to counter all of the energy of the creative mind and the creative world?
Mm, that's something I'm always learning, always discovering. I definitely want to learn more about myself in that particular area. And I'm very committed to my morning routine. Like a journaling and moving is important. I use another multi hyphenate of me as I used to teach yoga. So I practice yoga and I haven't meditate as often as I was before, but that's something that I should be because my brain is really chatty and go crazy. And talking to my parents really helps. And we have a once a week call because of the time difference in Japan and their timing, but that really helps me to ground. And yeah, all the people in my life really helps me to, and also they know that I'm perpetually not good at asking and not asking for help, like a receiving help when they offer me. So they are always giving me tough love, and which I really appreciate.
I know how I can understand and relate to that, right? Exactly. And if there's a way you could try to figure it out yourself or do it yourself or not be a burden to others, you'll always try to find a way to do it. But then again, there are times when saying, you know what, I could use an extra hand here. It works out to be a good thing. Delegating. Are you a good delegator? I've never been a great delegator. I really should delegate more.
Yeah, I I that's something I'm actively practicing, and especially because being earlier you mentioned that I am one of the board member for Prime Produce Separatist Cooperative, which is a co-op. And in co-op, if you're doing everything, that's not gonna work. And
No.
I had to learn that I had to learn the tough lessons so many times, especially during the pandemic. If you're thinking about sustainability and resilience of the organization, I had to teach people, I had to let other people do, and I had to be okay with not having it done in a way that I want to. And sometimes they come up with a better idea than I do. And most of the time, that is the case. And I think it's really important that you teach people and you share the information and you are able to, like, you have to believe that that is going to be beneficial for long term and longevity of what organization or your friendship or your collaboration looks like. And obviously it's easier said than done, but like in my head at least I started to recognize moments like, okay, I need to stop being stubborn. Yeah.
Are you hard on yourself? Do you demand a lot from yourself?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. I know how that is too. I know it's an interesting thing, and being creative sometimes demands that, and or it sort of allows that to rise to the surface, meaning that it can be when used effectively. Being hard on yourself can be great because you have an opportunity the world is your oyster. You can create and create and create and create and keep perfecting it and everything. But then on the other side, there are times when you need to step away and say, I'm good with that. That's good. Now we go off to the next thing. Well, matter of fact, we're going to pause in between and breathe a little, and then we're going to recharge and go off to that next thing. But it takes time to learn to do that, right?
And it takes time and practice, and
Practice.
yeah, and learn how not to do things over and over, right? So you have to. At least I had to learn how to be more forgiving to myself and give myself a little bit more grace.
Yeah, see, that's so important, right? That is a key part of all of this. And do you do speaking? Do you do speaking engagements? Do you go around speaking to people and inspiring them through your story? Of course, the documentary is a fabulous thing to have. Do you also do speaking in front of groups and organizations as well?
Yeah, I started doing that a little bit, and I would love to explore more what that looks like. And yeah, I think it's really important that people who look like me would be more in that arena, and also artist representation. It's so important, and talk about what we are doing and what we can do. And we are actually a part of the whole ecosystem. I say ecosystem a lot, but like we're a part of that. So I definitely would love to do more.
What are some things you learned about yourself? You're far away from the immediate family who are in Japan. What are some things that you learned about yourself during the downtime of, the pandemic and everything that we've been through as individuals, as a society, as a global community, something that touched the lives of everybody worldwide in some way, shape, or form? What are some things that you discovered about yourself? And a lot of people, were using this time to look at what they want to do going forward with their lives, sort of the next chapter. Where do things fall in place for you as a result of what we've all experienced during this time?
Hmm. Many things. The one thing that as I've mentioned earlier, like I want to have a little bit more of downtime, as and like a little bit more intentional time to rest for myself, physically, mentally, and spiritually. Need more time to really disconnect from doing things all the time, which is very hard for me. But I am open to really changing that narrative for myself. And another thing is, I really want to spend more time with my family, which is so important. I really want to see my nephew grow up and become young adult. He's 11 right now, soon to be 12. And for the most part of his life, I wasn't there. We have like once a year the visit that I have, and that's it. And I don't want to keep doing that. I want to be more present for him. I want to be more present for my parents and also my childhood friend from elementary school and whatnot. And also there are so much that I can get back to the community in Japan. And yeah, I want to be able to connect with people more intentionally as a human.
Exactly right. That's I like how you threw that part in.
Yeah,
As
because
a
I
human,
think it's so important, because I think I can connect
you
with
could
so
be an
many people.
avatar, but
Yeah, I can be an avatar. I can connect with the Doom. I can connect as a collaborator and whatnot. But as a human being, as a Yuko who likes to do crazy voices and like a silly things, can I? And also like to cry a lot. Like, can I
yeah,
hang out with you? Is the question.
right. Sure you can. Absolutely. You know why? Because you came here to be love. How's that
Ah.
for a segue? So we've got the trailer for that. Tell us about that.
Mm. Oh wow. I wasn't prepared for this part.
That's cool,
Y-
huh?
yeah. I came here to be loved. That was my the third solo show that I shared earlier. This was the third solo show we did in February of 2021. We know what that means. That means that all the creative industries were pretty much shut down. No
Yeah.
theaters were open. We didn't know COVID regulation. We didn't know what, we had no self-test available. Home kit was available, but we came together and created this show because it was important. It was really important for us to change what theater as it was or it could have been. And also, it was really important for me because there's so many people in my life that I don't know who I am anymore. I don't have the job that I used to do. I don't have the 9 to 5 that I used to do, and what people know as normal was taken away from us. And
It's changed in
yeah, it
great,
changed.
so many levels. Yeah. Do you feel different?
I do, of course I do feel different.
Me too. I do. Yeah. I
Yeah.
feel something is different. Yeah. Something is different. The only, I guess, one of the parts that I'm not keen on as far as the different is the way everybody, not everybody, a lot of people are so angry, and so there's so much division and so much, either everybody's either on the defense or they're on the offense, and there's no, and I'm a very like middle, I like to bring elements, I'm not extreme in any way, so I like to bring elements of each to the table, and let's all have a slice of the cake and figure out the best of all these things and bring them together and create something from it all, as opposed to, well, I'm only going to do this and I'm only going to sign up to be a part of that and I'm only going to join that and I'm only going to go over there with them, as opposed to, well, there's elements of that, this I like, there's elements of that this I don't like. So why don't we take some of each and make something great from all of it in our sort of casserole of life? And it seems like just there's I know everybody keeps talking about empathy and kindness and we need more of that, and you hear that all the time, but then sometimes the minute you step out your door, you're like, okay, everybody's talking about it, but who's actually exercising it? Where is it? When you go in the stores, when you turn on the TV and people are yelling and screaming and just whatever's, you drive your car on the highway and boom, it's like you think you're in NASCAR and Daytona 500 or something. It's kind of different. There's an edge. And the thing is, we've all been through this, what we've experienced. None of us expected anything, and we've had to work through this in our own ways. I would think, like 9/11 and other things, it would bring us closer and together, but in ways it's sort of torn a lot of people apart to where nobody listens anymore. Everybody's just speaking and fighting and looking to pick at this and pick at that. And I've noticed that. So I would say for me, one of the results of what has gone on, which has been extraordinary, kind of like a science fiction movie, is how different certain things feel about how we are treating one another, and how we all of a sudden it's every man for himself type thinking, when I would think going through what we've gone through would thrust us into a opposite way of thinking. Wow, look what can happen. Look how it can just happen like this, whatever it is. Even the economy, it's affecting all of us. So we have to work together to make things better. Now I could be, living maybe in an episode of the Brady Bunch or something, or Pollyanna or idealistic, but at least that's how I always thought things would work. But who am I?
We have to be hopeful, right? We have to be hopeful. And I think anger is a part of the process. And I think toxic positivity, it's something that's not good, right? That's not good either. I think we need to learn how to process anger in a healthy way, whatever that means for that person. And instead of punching people, like you probably punch the punching bag, or the pillow or whatnot, or perhaps you scream or whatnot. And but anger is part of the process, so it's something that we cannot ignore, and I don't think we should. But if you're in the space of changing something, or if you're in the space of like moving forward, like after the anger, what now? What's next? And I think what's important is that when you're in that space of what's next, and there are community to hold you and guide you and support you, and and hopefully the vision is that when the person or people are angry, also there are people who get to hold a space for them. And I think that's so important. And again, it's easier said than done, but I I'm always the what's it call it, the it's the hopeless optimistic is what I would love to see
Yeah.
myself,
Always, yeah, the glass is not half empty, it's half full, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not even like, why do you stop at the half full? It's like a let that overflow, right? So I think it's really cool that we are learning about it. People are talking about it, and maybe people are exercising it in a way that's a completely new, and they don't know how to, right? And I
Right.
think that's one thing too. And when you're trying something new, it's so uncomfortable. It's so unfamiliar. So of course, when you're first take a step back, you go 2 step back, right? So it's okay to be in that space. Now, once you experience that, then you move forward or move sideways, wherever that needs to go.
Exactly, because the rivers are flowing and the clock doesn't stop for anyone. So you got to maximize the time given, because life is precious. And like you said, came here to be love. Here's
Yeah.
here's the segue to this trailer. This is really cool, folks. Take a look at this here on the Jim Masters Show.
Hello, Earthlings, and welcome to the Purple Clementine. Oh, what? Yuko show? Oh, that's today. Oh, okay, one more take, please. Hello, Earthlings, and welcome to I Came Here to Be Loved, the third show written and performed by Yuko Kudo. Yeah! Oh, nose. Just making sure I'm safe. A lot of things have changed in the world, but we will not stop telling our stories. Let's see. Oh, okay. Looks like we're almost ready. Let's begin the show.
It's show day. You're gonna do it. It's happening. You're ready. You're going. You're making a movie, theater, digital, hybrid. We don't know what it is, but you're doing it. Good?
My fellow floaters, you're gonna float. You're gonna feel like you don't belong. You're gonna feel like you're the only one. But what you are is love. You'll find someone like you, and they will float with you for a second, and they will go on their own way. And we repeat. We'll feel lonely over and over. Enjoy the ride. We're gonna keep floating. I don't belong anywhere, so I belong everywhere.
Really cool. Really cool.
Thank
I
you.
love that. How long did it take to put that whole thing together, and where can people see it?
Uh, so the two process to that. So up until that point, we filmed it like we had to pre-record it, and everything else happened after that is live.
That was all live. So that was the build up to the live.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
Yep. So that happened in the February of 2021. Remember that. It's
that-
happened. Yep. We're wearing
yeah.
masks. We don't know what COVID protocols were. Like we wanted to take care of each other and we wanted to create. And that's what it was.
That's fantastic. Do you see more live coming for
Uh,
you?
for me, I haven't thought about it. And the reason is I always love to add things or like experiment and explore from there. You know, like if I did it one time, it's like I don't want to recreate the same thing. And I
Right.
would love to explore if I were making more live elements in the next project. Maybe I will have a little bit more interactive piece, or perhaps it looks different in like a certain way. Because this time or in this show, we didn't have in-person audience because we couldn't
Yeah.
primarily, but maybe next time we'll have a live audience, like who knows. But nothing in the mix right now, but it doesn't mean I'm not open to it.
Exactly. Yeah, because you have so many projects that are happening as you create art for healing, connecting, and changing the world. When you look back to, the 10-year-old Yuko, what would you say to her after having all these continued experiences of life, coming to America, pretty much living the American dream in terms of being able to make your mark and seize opportunities? Not that any of it is easy. Sometimes, in Hollywood movies, everything looks like the streets are paved in gold and everything's going to be easy and everybody drives Maseratis and everything, money is just handed to you and everything is carefree and everybody's at the beach. Not necessarily the case. You got to really work hard, which you do. When you think about it, if you were to talk to that 10-year-old version of yourself, what would you say to her?
Um, I'm pretty sure I'll answer this question in a different way every time I get asked. But right now, what's coming up for me is don't don't be so mean to yourself. That's what I will say.
I like that. And would you go easier on yourself too?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
right?
need to practice that, and I want to.
Right, exactly. Right. I agree. Um, what are some of those continued blessings and joys in your life, Yuko, that keep you going and creating and connecting and helping people heal? It's beautiful work that you do, and I'm so happy that our dear friend Helene connected us because she's another loving, caring, spirited, creative
She
person.
really is.
Yeah, and I know she was so super excited and when she married us together here through the show, which I think is fantastic. What are some of those other blessings and joys that keep you creative and keep you wanting to do what you do and do so well?
Hmm. I always go back to people in my life, and I will name a few people right now. Michael Cottrell, my partner, is a wonderful human and also wonderful creator and filmmaker. Like his work is incredible, and I learned so much from him, and he inspires me all the time. Brandon Remaker and Sheena Francis, they're my frequent collaborator and my quarantine home family, and these two really, really are my heart and soul of creative journey. And my family, as I mentioned, my nephew is the love of my life. And he's adorable, and he is crazy little one that is soon to be taller than me. And yeah,
So you got that nephew love too, like I do, huh? Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean that munchkin.
It's amazing. Mine is he's very immersed in at very deep, high levels, which is extraordinary in the world of AI, of artificial intelligence, and creating these extraordinary platforms that help the healthcare industry and law enforcement and bringing societies together. And it's extraordinary work. He's always been one of those kids that, uh, not a kid anymore, but he was always the one that would be in his room and you'd have to slip the food underneath the door because he's in there working and building
Right.
these genius ideas and things of that nature, and has never wavered or walked from it, even though, I mean, he was studying and graduated school. He went to Full Sail in Florida, Full Sail University. He was going to be doing video game design and creation, but even that wasn't challenging enough for him. The world of AI and the ability to use it to create good things for humanity is something that really speaks to him. He just came back from a major speech convention happening at Cannes, and now he's been asked to speak in Switzerland, and he's part of the WHO with the United Nations, and all of these things that are happening to him. His nephew and godson, and it's cool when you have that around you, right? It's can, as you're inspiring, as I inspire through what I do in this industry, and you inspire, and we're linked in our industries too. There's a lot of similarity, and sort of weaving in and out and blending. But to have people around us that are also wanting to do things to connect and give back and heal, it's kind of beautiful, huh?
It really is.
We're all blessed. We're in a sweet spot.
Absolutely.
Well, I got to tell you, this was really a lot of fun and a joy to have you here on the show. And all of the viewers have been commenting. They've said, well done and nice and all kinds of. Merlin says crying is good therapy. And
yes.
She wants you to sing. She wants you to belt out a tune.
Oh my God.
If there was, what would you sing? Something from a Disney?
I mean, I always have to go back to Disney, right? Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for being here. Enjoyed this conversation. Good luck with all you do. Kathleen's in New York City. Sherry is in Kansas, USA. Thank you for being here tonight. Best wishes in all you do in the future, and we'll keep an eye out for your future work, which is really, really nice. And I hope the show met whatever expectations you had, Yuko, and you enjoyed the time with me as much as I absolutely have with you.
I had a blast. Thank you so much for having me. And I am so grateful for Helene. Thank you, Helene. One more time, shout out. And yeah, thank you so much, all listeners, for joining this conversation, and much gratitude.
The pleasure is all mine, my friend. And next time we'll have you come back. We'll have you sing something or maybe do some of those animated voices.
Oh, yes. Let's do that again. We'll have so much fun.
I like that. Is there a mini Yuko? Is there a mini version of you?
Perhaps somewhere.
Somewhere. Somewhere deep inside, right?
Somewhere. Exactly.
That's it. Well, you're the best. Thanks for joining us. Spread the word about the Gym Masters Show live series. We're doing something. We don't call these interviews. We call these conversations. I think it's a lot warmer and more relatable, and people get a lot more out of it, and they feel, connected with it, and they learn a lot more. And you were absolutely a delight. So we're going to, as we always say, keep the porch light on for you, my friend. You're welcome back anytime, and best of luck with everything. And hopefully, we'll see you at an event or show or something in the city or what have you, because we're right here in the same tri-state area. That would be a pleasure.
Absolutely. That would be amazing.
Let's stay in touch and stay connected. And thanks for all the beautiful work you're doing. And we hope to chat with you again soon, Yuko.
Thank you so much.
You be well. Take care. Bye-bye. Isn't that great? Fantastic work she's doing. And she's, like I said, filled with such energy and passion for life and for living and helping people heal. And you got a chance to see some of the amazing trailers too, and some of the great work that she does with her team, Yuko Kudo, here on the show. We're very excited to have Yoko here. And this was really one of those conversations that just went on many different levels. And Yuko is just very spirited. And I love the way she thinks, the way you could tell that she's living the process as she's sharing it. And I think that's a cool thing on many different levels. There is, of course, what we were showing you earlier, Dear Asian Girls, look for that. Just Be You, a documentary produced by Untapped Storytellers. And if this was the first time maybe you've learned about her and about her extraordinary work, that's great. Then we did our job, because we love to showcase all kinds of folks, whether they're well-known celebrities or they're folks that are just starting out, or they're folks that have been around and now they're doing new things in all different categories. Again, our guests come from Broadway, Hollywood, television, film, music, stage, culinary arts, sports, comedy, inspiration. And there, of course, is Helene. Yes, Gaelic, and we love her. She's really absolutely amazing, and she put us all together, the trifecta of creativity, right? We appreciate Yuko Kudo for joining us here on the show. And of course, we appreciate all of you joining us as well, gang. If you enjoyed this episode, there's a little homework. It's very easy. Just give this episode a thumbs up like. And that's right there on the YouTube channel. All the episodes have a thumbs up. Click thumbs up. Drop a comment for us as well underneath the episode in the comment section. And don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, as well. We absolutely love that. And that helps us continue to grow and expand. We have an international audience, our lovely audience watching literally from all around the world, very interactive with all of you. And it's always a blast to communicate with all of you and entertain all of you as well. Thank you very much, Sherry. She says, thank you, Jim. Yuko is a delight. Good night, all. Have a wonderful Tuesday, everyone. Love and hugs to you as well, Sherry. And more coming in from Kathleen in New York City. Thank you, Jim. Great show. My pleasure. Merlin in Ontario, Canada. Thanks. This was a pleasure. Keep up the good work. We both shall, myself and Yuko as well, and everybody watching from around the world. If you're watching live, thank you very much. If you're watching this later, we archive everything. Hundreds of episodes you can watch and archive and binge right here on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. Now, as you know, we don't say goodbye around here. We say see you later. Ciao, cheers, moi loop, slancha, sayonara, shalom, avida zain. Take care, be well, love one another, take care of one another, and don't forget to relax. Isn't this thing cool? We used to show it in the earlier episodes of our series, and you guys wanted this to come back. Got this in the window when we were on a family vacation in Newport, Rhode Island. Said, how cool is this? So don't forget to relax and take care of one another, love one another, and don't forget to take time for yourself, which we talked about tonight on JMS on many different levels. All right, gang, we'll see you on the next one, okay? All on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. Like, comment, subscribe, and we shall see you on the next one. For all of us here, I'm Jim Masters, thanking you for your time this time. Till next time, right here on the Jim Masters Show Live. Take care and be well. Cheers.